to call the meeting, Minot Park Board to order. Start with pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Starting off, do we have any personal appearances? Personal appearances? Move on to a approval of the minutes from the April 21st Park Board meeting.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Approval of bills, the amount of $2,198,236.37. This does include the $1.6 million in bond payments. Motion to approve?
Nobody wants to make a motion on that one.
I do. I move that amount.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Could we, Mr. Mayor, give a little explanation on the 1.6?
It's all of our current bond payments that are due at this time, so we're making our normal payments.
Cumulative.
Correct. Mhm.
Any other questions or discussion? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Hovda?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Wharton?
Yes.
Emery?
Yes. Approval of salaries, the amount of $335,365.41.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Discussion. Discussion on salaries? Roll call, please.
Hovda?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Wharton?
Yes.
Emery?
Yes. Financials.
Nothing to report. We will be talking about going through our audit here soon, and I will give you an update on where we're at with revenue later on in the meeting.
Under financials, could we see if we can have the actual expenses and budget sent back out again?
Sure.
Department reports. Director of Operations, Mr. Olson.
Right. President Emery and Commissioners, I really don't have anything to add to my submitted report. Just a couple little things. A few of the projects, our paving projects, they started at Leach Park today. They'll be closing that parking lot. There will be access to all the amenities there. It's just the parking lot will be closed. So they can get started on that project. And they're over marking Oak Park pathways right now, so they'll kind of be jumping back and forth between Leach Park and Oak Park pathways right now, and then they'll just continue on after that to Woodland Trail, where we did receive information on the CTX bathroom for Woodland Trails. We'll be picking out, siding and roofing and things like that, so that'll be ready for the end of that project. Again, just reiterate the staff, as they've been doing a great job working through this with the different updates, and on a weekly basis, things are changing, weekly, daily, hourly at times, but they're working through it with their staffs, doing a very good job communicating what we need done with their seasonal staff, because a lot of them are young kids and young adults, and they've been doing a very good job with that. So other than my report, I'll talk about Mesa Center Hung scoreboard bids under new business, but I can answer any questions at this time.
It's the Verizon Intelligent Video.
That again, obviously the Verizon company, we did a video conference with them about a month ago, and kind of identified areas in our park system where we might not be able to have security. So we say Bison Trail. So we looked at, okay, if you put a camera at the entrance, pointing in and kind of pointing out, so at least then we can see activity, who's going in, who's going out, just to kind of monitor that. So if there is an incident, well, when was it? We'd be able to go back and look at video, okay, these are the cars that were there, is there a description? You know, we did it also, kind of looked at things at Roosevelt Park around the pool, Oak Park around the amphitheater, the Overlook Park area, you know, again, a few places where, you know, we don't always have, you know, capabilities of seeing. So they're able to do with their wireless, you know, or run it off Wi-Fi, other things like that. So they just kind of showed us different things, and they're working on pricing for us for possible bid options for capital improvements for 2021. That kind of falls into staff. They're looking in different areas in the parks where we might need the cameras, where we have higher vandalism, that we can actually hook into power and you know, maybe internet service in those locations. Because a lot of this, some of the places we just, without wireless, we can't run cameras or security systems or things like that. You know, and we're working on other technology, you know, with Verizon right now, because they're the ones that have our cell phone service. So.
On the open positions, it looked like you postponed the rec specialist, but are proceeding with maintenance and auditorium tech. Can you tell me how the conversation's going within the administration and how you're making those decisions?
Well, right, Commissioner Hubda, with the rec specialist position, again, with our numbers right now, we don't know if it justifies having, you know, being able to hire that position. So again, that will be evaluated. We did budget for it, so it is a position that, you know, as things go, you know, if we need to open that back up and interview, we can at that time. Maintenance is a welder position primarily that we lost a few months ago. So again, you know, as things move forward, you know, we haven't advertised that, and we haven't done any interviews obviously for that position. You know, so again, we'll open that up to see, you know, how things go.
So is, in the budget development then, are we looking at those kinds of things specifically in terms of long-term planning and savings? Nobody knows what's gonna happen, but we certainly know we're not gonna have the income we had. So everything across the board, I think, needs to be scrutinized. As I've said, I think we need to keep our people as much as possible, but it may be like anything else, our people end up working harder. So I think we need to have a discussion on proceeding on the budget from the board and look at some kind of consensus how we want to move forward on that.
Yeah, the auditorium tech position and the maintenance position, those were vacated by retirements. You know, so again, those were ones that we've always had. It was not a new position. The, you know, golf course assistant superintendent, again, was a position that, you know, we've had vacant for a couple years, and we were in the process of, we went through advertising, getting ready to set up interviews, and then our current situation happened. So again, we are evaluating it, and staffs have been picking up the slack where needed.
Okay, good.
You else have anything for Mr. Olson? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kotick.
Nothing to add except the gentleman arrived from Bauer Turf from Minnesota. He's seeding the relinks as we speak. Started yesterday. He's going to do the greens and tees. Mike and Josh were up there. They have a lot of plugged irrigation heads. But I would say by tonight or tomorrow morning, everything will be seeded. And we arranged to deal with Rob White, retired police officer. He's going to help grow it in. So I would be I don't think it's going to be open this year, but I have to be optimistic. See what happens. See what the summer does.
Any questions for Steve?
We've only lost one tournament, and that was the ladies' cancer. Everybody else is kind of holding their to do it. So I'm excited about that too.
Mr. Crest.
I have nothing to add to my report, other than, Surf Valley is looking really, really good out there. We've had some good play out there lately, so people are coming out.
I have had a few requests to put the floaties back in above the flag, so they can just bounce off the flag.
Yeah, they can just be close, you don't have to put it in.
Yeah.
Do I have anything for Mike? Zoo, Becky.
Nothing to add other than that, instead of us moving the snow leopards out in the morning, we're gonna be doing it tonight because it is warm weather and so it's better for the animals to be transported overnight, so if I duck out a little early, it's because of that. Be happy to answer any questions. It's a lot of unknowns, but we're navigating as best we can. We opened up the doors on the 9th and people are happy to get outside. So it's been a lot of positive feedback.
We have to pull the building permit by like August or something, right?
Would
We're
you-
still on schedule for all that and.
We are in the sense that the designs are on schedule, it's the funding mechanisms that I have some big concerns over. The fact that philanthropically, I think it's gonna be very hard to do capital campaign fundraising with the current state of economics. And so, that's my biggest unknown.
The zoo crew is kinda helping out some, or?
They are willing, they've been looking at getting up to $1 million loan. And so we were really plugging hard to just try to at least get $1 million before we actually bid. And things were looking very optimistic and we had some good contacts, but at this point in time, all of those have kind of gone silent.
On the donation side, you're talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, I wish I had a better answer to give you at this point, but, I do have our main donor that's been very supportive. She texted me over the weekend and we're gonna have a meeting over Zoom tomorrow just to talk about the state of the project, so be very open and honest and see where that goes.
Anyone else? Thank you. Mesa, Mr. Gillen.
Just an update on the plant project here, so I made some picture copies here so you can see. Commissioner Emery was out and saw a little bit of what's going on. But we are still ahead of schedule. The 3 that are here from Alabama are doing a great job. And bad luck Bob is not struck yet, so knock on wood. Let me continue as is, but I just want to throw you this kind of the timeline there. When we started to cut the wall to where we are now, the new chiller surge drum arrived yesterday. They got after it at 6:30 this morning, and it is in place in the plant room in 1 day. So we're waiting on Neil from Minot Welding. Was supposed to come over today, and must have got caught up. He didn't get a chance to get over, but they're ready to start welding and getting pipes put in place. And then the day after Memorial Day, Rollout will come over. They already started cutting the floor in the west rink. They're just gonna take the pieces out because we need the forklift, and then they'll finish cutting out the rest of the east rink and then the Zamboni room and start removing that, and then we can start taking those existing pipes out and continue with the rest of the project. So I'm hoping by mid-June, late June, we can maybe fire it up, test it, and I can start getting the west rink saturated early. So we kind of planned for after the 4th of July, a little bit July for that, but right now we're coming in. So that's going really well. If you got a chance, we'll stop on it sometimes, let me know, bring it over. They're doing a great job, and they're working 7 days a week, 8-9 hours a day, because they want to obviously get home too, but they're not in a rush. But other than that, we opened, it's going as good as can be, numbers are still low, but people that are there are loving it, and they're following our rules. Our staff's doing a great job cleaning more than what we normally clean, and keeping everything clean in between sessions and wiping stuff down worse than what we do. So I'm really happy, and we're starting to get calls from other rinks now, asking how it's going, and hearing that we're open. And so I think we're kind of a model rink right now around the country as far as unopened. So I'm excited and happy with how it's going. But I'll answer any questions.
Material testing service, make it over there?
Yep, they did the sand test last Friday. They took a sample from the south end, which was good sand, and then the area that got affected. And their little litmus test didn't show much difference between the 2 ends, so they are now going to take it and do the lab test, which is what a 2-week process to show the parts per million. In each of those sand bases, I'm sure we'll show a little bit of difference there. Now it's just a matter of if we have to take maybe the top layer off or the 3 inches that go down where the pipes are in that one end. But right now, their initial test didn't show any difference between the two, which kind of surprised me, but this other test will. They should have that back end of this month or right away the first week of June. And then if we have to take sand out, our staff will work on that while they're doing the floor, so that should hold something.
Anything for Bob? Thank you.
Thank you.
Maintenance, Ryan Mattson.
We finally put the new playground back into service Thursday morning. We got our audit back on us. We put that into service. Pouring concrete tomorrow morning up at the South Hill Complex for their batting cage. That'll be about a 15-yard pour. Sanitizing playgrounds, working on pools and splash pads, getting them going. So plenty busy. Had 3 big water breaks this morning, and by about 6 o'clock we had them all fixed. So looking better. Bob, bad luck. Bob must have visited me last night.
Anything for Brian? Shannon's not here for horticulture. Do you have any questions on her report there? Ryan Johnson, forestry.
Believe it or not, we're selling more trees this year than we have in a long time. Really surprised with the number. We're almost out already. So it's been going really good. We're really busy. Yeah, having a lot of fun.
Anything for Brian? Marketing development. Kelly?
Just want to say a huge thank you, and I know Ann will touch base on this too, but to our area schools for really helping us get our brochure out there. It was nice to see, not so much to carry them, but it was nice to see that palette get lower of guides that we have. So just a huge kudos to Ann and her crew. I think that they went above and beyond to get the information out to the public. And we'll just go from there to see how signups go, but I know Ann will talk a little bit more about that. A few of the other things, we're a go for our movies. Our first one's gonna be June 5th. We're thinking that we'll probably just have everybody have their little parking pad at Oak Park at the amphitheater, and we're gonna move forward with that. 4th of July festival is planned. It's gonna be a lot smaller of a festival this year, but we're still gonna do something. We're gonna have the band out there and the food vendors, and we'll practice the guidelines that are out at that point. And a couple of other things, as we are in the midst of our projects for 2020, I'm looking forward to 2021 projects because grants rounds will start again here July and early August. So I'm looking at our plans for next year and seeing what grants match up with which projects. So that's where I'm at.
Questions for Ellie? Scott Collins, Director of Recreation.
Nothing really to add other than we had a state softball meeting on Saturday morning, and as of Saturday we're open to starting softball up for the summer. They put June 1st as a starting kind of the goal, but if the city's different leagues are ready to roll, they can start play as soon as they are ready to do it. There's a few little guidelines. Obviously, we're changing some things in town. Can probably cover a little bit more of that, but we're using mats for our home plate area, which is the ball hits the mat, it's a strike, you know, and the umpires will be set off to the side. There'll be some sanitary stuff that we have to have the teams do, and you know, exchanging balls and things like that. But we're going to be up and running, and we're going to try to get as much in as we possibly can.
Matt would have helped you back in the day.
Pardon me?
So Matt would have helped you back in the day behind the plate.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Scott? Adult recreation, Tom.
As Scott said, we are opening up. We're gonna start June 1, working on schedules. I'll have schedules done this week. And otherwise, he pretty much touched on the mat ball and the referee standing to the side and the catcher standing back from the batter. And that's about it, but we're gonna roll on the week of June 1st.
Questions for Tom? Youth recreation, Ann.
Like Ellie said, my main focus has been lately to try to get the word out that we are still having programs this summer. We've done a lot through social media. We've gone out in the public and handed out brochures wherever we can. And we're hoping to see a little spike in our registrations now that school's out. People hopefully will be
starting to think about what they wanna do in the summer, and, we've extended our registration deadlines through this week, and that's always a little flexible too, so we're hoping to get some more registration. We're planning on starting, at least some form of our baseball, softball, t-ball, and our other programs about, June 15th right now. But those dates are always flexible, and we can always, do what we have to do. If we have to do a second session after the 4th of July. We've talked about a lot of different ideas, so we're just excited to get going and see what we can do this summer.
And I think that's one of the things that, we've talked about a lot is, it might be one of those things that's not in the forefront of people's minds right now, so once one friend sees a picture of another friend kid out there playing t-ball, they're like, oh, they're actually playing this year. So it's gonna be things like that. I think as people get more comfortable, and guidelines grow, we're gonna get more interest. So I think looking at that second season might be really a great way to go.
And also, I guess it's on the report, but we are starting our track program, our summer track program. That'll be the first kind of recreation kids program that we're gonna do, and that starts on June 2nd. And that'll be every Tuesday in June, so we hope some kids get out and start running around.
Anyone else? Moving on to tennis, Mark.
I have 2 things to add to the report. Number 1, tennis center is closing down this week after our 8 months of indoor tennis and the nice new warm weather. We're transitioning outside. June 6th, we're gonna have like a little orientation to our summer programs that we're doing, and they all start up June 8th. And the main thing that we're really doing is trying to just keep a positive spirit for the whole community, tennis family. And we have about 50 to 60 kids already signed up on Rec Track, so that's a pretty good sign. Last year, I think we had maybe 80 total, 75, 80. So there's a lot of interest out there. Today, after our meeting at the Mesa, I ran into some ice hockey, or not ice hockey, figure skating parents who are all gonna do the tennis. So the tennis community is hungry to get out and play, and so we're excited about it and looking forward to it in early June.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark? Move on to new business and the bond sale results. Mr. Merritt.
Do we have Mark on the line? Do you know?
I am on, Ron. Can you hear me?
Yes, well, you can take over and explain to everyone what happened today. They have documents before them. If you could go through that, that would be nice.
Will do. And there's, thanks everyone for the time. The bond sale did go off at 10 a.m. this morning. Went very well. I provided a lot of documents that I will go through as much or as little of that as you want me to. I'm not sure exactly how your packet is organized, but the first one I wanted to just share with you is the one that says bid results in the top left corner. We got 3 bids, one from Northland Securities, one from Doherty and Company, one from Robert Baird and Company. There are 3 companies that tend to bid on pretty much all of the North Dakota deals that we do, so we were pleased to see that. Those bids are listed in order from the best bid to the worst, if you will. The best bid was from Northland Securities, and the true interest cost, which is the tick on the right-hand side of the table that you may see, is 1.833203, which is the weighted average interest rate for the bond. So we did the 20-year bond at 1.83%, basically. So we were very pleased with those bids. The market's been in turmoil, as many of you I'm sure know. So it's definitely been stabilizing over the last few weeks, and it appears that we got the timing just about right, because at 1.833, that's actually better than the initial rate that we estimated from back a couple of months ago when we first started these conversations. So we were really pleased with that. So the bids were based on a bond size of $3.370 million. There's 2 other documents that are related to the bids. I won't really go through those, but they're basically the details associated with the Northland bid only. because they were the winning bidder, so that's the one we projected or provided. There is, probably in the back of your packet, there is a bid form that has the QSIP numbers and all of the detail associated with the bonds. That, if you accept the bid, that would need to be signed tonight. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But then the next part of the packet I would like to go through is, it says the Park District in the City of Minot in the top left corner. It's kind of got a blue bar on the top. It's basically a set of schedules. There's 4 of them. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on these. I'll go through it again. I'll answer questions, or I'll go through as much detail as you want. But the first one says pricing summary. And one of the things I'd call your attention to is the maturity value in the middle of that table. And you go down to the bottom, or the total of that, and it comes out to $3.280 million. And the reason that number is lower than the $3.370 million we started with was because we got almost $90,000 in premium for the bond. So what ends up happening when you get premium is you don't have to borrow as much. So we were basically able to reduce the bond size by about $90,000. So that was also really good news. The bonds are callable in May of 2027. There's detail in that schedule shows you the coupon, which is the interest rate you're going to pay when you're making the payment. But then the yield is really what generates that 1.83%, because they have a premium in it, so the yield is actually less than the interest rate. I'm going to pretty much skip the underwriter's discount as you go down a little bit lower in the bid information. There's a total underwriter's discount line. That came out to 1.154%, which is also lower than what we originally estimated. We estimated at about 1.2%. So overall, very, very good news. We got, I think a great interest rate on a 20-year bond. We were pretty pleased with it. The next page is just the sources and uses. So it basically talks about the par amount of the bond, the reoffering premium. The second part is the uses. There's the underwriter's discount again, which came out to about just under $38,000. The cost of issuance, sure, the bond counsel, AMCO expenses, some marketing expense, that kind of thing. And then the project fund, which was the $3.277 million that we started with as our estimate for the project. And then that rounding amount is actually going to end up going into the construction fund. The reason there's a rounding amount, just so everybody knows, is the bonds are issued in $5,000 increments, and sometimes they don't come out exact. So the system just calculates a rounding amount, and then that will actually basically get paid back as part of the proceeds of the bond to the park. Okay? Any questions before I go on? Still good?
We're good.
All right, and then the next schedule is the debt service schedule, so you can see what the principal, the interest, and the total payments are going to be on an annual basis. They start in May of 2021. There will be an interest payment due in November of 2020. That's not showing on this, but Ron, I'll send you a semi-annual schedule as soon as everything is approved, and so you'll see what that amount is. But basically, this is really just the kind of debt service schedule and the payment amount that the bond generates. And, I guess, I'm sorry, I did include the semi-annual schedule. So the semi-annual schedule is the last page, and that shows the $27,000 interest payment in November. In addition to the packet that I sent, Scott Wagner, the bond counsel for the issue, sent a resolution that we would like the board to address tonight at the meeting. And hopefully you guys are pleased with these results. I certainly am. Like I said, the results came out actually better than we originally estimated. So with that, I'll ask again if anyone has any questions or would want any more detail. I'd be happy to address it.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you very much.
Well, would you, Ron, are you gonna address the resolution at the end of the meeting, or do you wanna do it while I'm on, or?
No, we'll take care of everything now.
Yeah, we'll take care of it right now. So I would,
Okay.
guess first entertain a motion to accept the bids, the bid for Northland Securities on our facility bonds.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. Discussion?
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, I think interest rates are real nice. So, roll call, please.
Hovda?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Wharton?
Yes.
Emery?
Yes. And then I would entertain a motion for the resolution authorizing issuance and sale of $3,280,000 of general obligation park facility bonds, Series 2020A, for the Minot Park District of the City of Minot, North Dakota.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hovda?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Wharton?
Yes.
Emery?
Yes. And I believe that takes care of everything, Mark?
It does from my perspective, you bet.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Ron, I'll follow up with you on the signed documents tomorrow, and, again, guys, I appreciate everything, thanks a lot, and, have a good evening.
All right, nice job, thanks.
All right, bye.
Move on to the Mesa scoreboard bids.
Right, President Emery and board commissioners. One project I did forget about earlier is Polaris Park improvement, Warmy House and skating rink. They've demoed all the boards. They've done pretty much most of the demo inside. Got a lot of the plumbing rough ends. And so they're moving right along on that project. So if you do drive by, it looks a little bit different with no boards or anything out there. But again, things are moving along nicely on that project too, so a little update there. So getting back to the bid we opened today at 2 p.m. for the center hung scoreboard at the Mesa. What it is, it's a 4-sided video board with a bottom ring on it. We had three companies supply bids. Unfortunately, there was one company out of Canada that was unable to supply a bid because they could not secure a bid bond from anybody who they normally work with. So had a good discussion with him, and you know, his bid was in the ballpark of these. So everything seems to be somewhat in order there too. So first company was Watchfire. They're out of Danville, Illinois. Their, I guess you call it their base bid, which, you know, again, we're still checking specifications, but they came in at $179,998. They did provide some additional add-ons if we looked at, you know, possible going from static scoreboards on the end walls to video boards, another camera added. And that's kind of where they came up with the pricing of about $36,000. So if we added something like that to, you know, their bid, that's kind of the numbers we'd be at. They did add another page with a fair bit of additional supplied by owner items. So again, need to do a little more checking on those. The next company was Nevco, Greenville, Illinois. They submitted what was spec'd, and theirs was $239,799. Third company was Daktronics. Again, they submitted a bid for what was spec'd or comparable for $272,482. They gave a few different options of, you know, smaller video board with no ring, very large video board on an end wall, and just keep using the existing center hung scoreboard, or just a large video board with no ring. So, I mean, we were definitely looking at video, a 4-sided video board with a ring. So again, I just supplied what they put in their bids. So I guess at this point, this is the information. I guess if the specifications meet and the additional supplied by owner items are not, you know, too out of sight, I guess I would like to move forward with trying to proceed with the watch fire company out of Danville, Illinois. But again, I will report back to you on what we find on some of the supplied by owner items. And again, this project is a sponsored project.
Completely. We're close.
We have about 250,000 to work with. We have some additional expenses moving the other
Yeah,
board
the
over and
other
some
additional-
structural support work that has to be done, so.
We'll have to do a review on the structural steel of the Pepsi, which again, first communications is it's structurally sized to handle a bigger board. So, and then to move the existing board into the deck ranking. And again, obviously that structural steel is a little bit older, so we'll have to get that verified by an engineer also. So there is a little bit more expense, so.
Do we have a cost, like you're looking at the structural costs, what, do we have a cost of all of a sudden it comes in at $500,000 that we're not gonna do this? You know, do we know what it's gonna cost at all for the structural, looking at the beams and moving it and?
We needed to get kind of what the board is, what the weight is to have the engineer check and make sure our steel is. But again, the initial communication, size-wise, what we anticipated, they did feel that the structural steel is adequate for what we need for the Pepsi ring. Obviously, moving into the EC rink, again, we'll have to wait to see what that is, because they were working on finding, I guess I'll call it the steel reports of that building, because it was in 2000, so.
Those are kind of two separate projects. You could do one without the other, because the Echo
Correct.
doesn't have.
One, we have to get, if we do this, we have to get the Pepsi, the center hung scoreboard in there right now.
Correct.
Off and moved out, and then we can work on that.
But if there was a substantial cost in EC, if we had to do work on the structural steel.
Correct.
You could still do,
That's
we could still do
kinda
this
why
project
we
and
didn't-
just.
We didn't add everything into one package.
Yeah.
Because again, if one's way different than the other, we may not be able to do it at this time.
I'm just looking at what, are we gonna have out-of-pocket expenses for us? And if they do, how high are we gonna go on those? Because that's what I'm asking on this project.
And it's looking like with the apparent low bid, we may be able to cover the entire expense of the project without additional expense, but if the expense of moving the scoreboard and installing it in the middle rink is too high, we may have to wait on that and budget some funds to get that part completed. There isn't a center hung scoreboard there now, so we're not gonna be missing anything. We can install the new one and then just put that part on hold if it costs too much. We may be able to cover all of it, but that depends on the price of the installation of the board that we have existing in the other rink.
How long are these bids good for? Did you have a date on those as?
I'd say a minimum of 30 days.
Yeah. Because do we need to wait to see what the entire cost is to see where we're at before we accept a bid? I don't know that.
If we need more information, we may need to wait, get the information and.
Because I'd like to be able to know that if we look at the $216,000 bid, the things supplied by owner that you need to look into, it could end up putting it above that $239,000 that is.
Right, and that's.
So I'd like to see us table this until the next board meeting. If we can, if we need to call a special meeting prior to that, we can do that too. But I'd like to have more numbers.
I totally agree, President Emery, and again, I'll start working on, again, opening bids at 2 in the afternoon.
Yep.
Trying to have everything ready for tonight was a little impossible, but we'll get working on it tomorrow, because we have a very tight time frame to try to get this completed this summer, if at all possible.
It would be in for this.
Well, that's the goal, is I hate to say it, unless Mr. Young has a different time frame. We have about a 2.5 to 3 week window late summer for the install, so.
It's about
That's what we're working towards.
If you can get the numbers, and once we have those numbers, let me know, and then we can call a special
Yep.
meeting if we wanna just address this, because we do have the time frame. It is 2 or 3 weeks in August that all will have to put that in.
I think
So-
it's about a 5-day on-site project is what they've told us.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of getting, I don't know if there's,
Yeah, I'm
getting
aware
the
of
clock
that.
here thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
but if he's got a 2 or 3 week window, it's a 1 week on site, so
It's
that's
the
good.
order
Yeah,
to get it.
it's the lead up.
Yep.
Yep. So if you get that
So I'll work-
information.
I'll start working on that tomorrow and try to have as much information by the end of the week as I can.
Okay, and then we'll pick a day and get together and pass that on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other new business?
Yes, President Emery. Make this quick, the land out by the Mesa Ring, Superfund site. It's been talked about many times here. I guess I'd like to make a motion, so we talk about it, is to get the ball rolling on the site. And I think the first portion of that is to get the ordinance changed through the city of Minot, if I'm correct.
That
Would
needs to be done, yes.
Yeah. So I want to make a motion that we approach the city of Minot to change the ordinance with the Superfund site so we can proceed with the project that we want to do out there.
I'll second that.
Discussion. I personally think, yes, it's a good idea to ask the city to, because that might maybe push things at the, with the EPA or not, but either way, we can't do anything until we at least have the ordinance changed. So I think that's a good idea.
All right.
Any other discussion?
How would you approach them on that, or how do we approach them on that then? Okay.
Start the discussion, and they'll have to have probably some language written by their attorney. We'll have to look at it as well to make sure it works for everyone.
Hey, we have a motion and a second to approach the city about changing the ordinance for the Superfund site. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Any other new business? Old business, COVID-19 lost revenue report.
All right, so you have the report before you. Department heads helped Jared put this together. Maybe you want to go through some of the details, Jared, of what this includes and what it doesn't include.
Yeah, Park Board President and Commissioners, again, a lot of the savings are, in each group is staff wages, some program materials. The things it really doesn't include is, say for instance, the Mesa, the utilities, water, electric, gas, just trying to get all this information. We don't have all that information yet, but it's mainly staff savings and not buying program supplies. This has nothing to do with any capital improvements or anything like that we have not done. And that's another avenue down the road that the department heads are looking at, prioritizing, things that, yeah, we really need to get this done, or if that can wait till at a later time, if at all possible. And this is, through last Friday.
So you can see the numbers. We're estimated right now, without looking at the utilities, of about 84,000. We're down about $84,000 over this whole time frame, which is pretty darn good, considering we lost a whole month at the Mesa, and we were kind of in the in-between season of our other facilities, so that really helped. Getting the golf course open when we did also helped us. The revenue has been looking really good at the golf course, so kudos to you guys. Nice job getting that moving. So, this is one or two small capital projects that we could postpone to make up this difference. So I feel like right now, at least, we're in very good shape, but we'll see how things play out during the summer. The programming end, it's staff intensive, and we know if we don't have as many programs, it'd be nice to see bigger numbers in the programs if we're offering them, but we can't do anything about that other than let people know, and when they start feeling comfortable, they'll start participating. Other areas, our facilities are open, so we're just hoping that as time goes on, people feel more comfortable and start visiting. If they don't, then we'll make adjustments later on in the year to address that. But as far as our budget goes, we're in good shape. We also have reserves that are available, but we're not even considering that at this point. This is a very minor amount in our budget at this point. It's not an insignificant amount, but in our $14 million budget, it's not. I mean, we're doing well right now compared to what it could be.
Where does the pool lie in the stage 1, 2, 3 opening clause that was laid out by the governor?
Well, we're able to open our pool. We have to keep the capacity at 50% initially of what.
250.
So.
We can go up to.
Okay.
And we've gotten guidance from the state level, and now it's kicked out at the local level from the health unit on how we have to, some other requirements that we have to meet. And we're going to try and get some clarification on some of those that we just saw today pertaining to our splash pads. We're reading it as we may have to staff those, which we don't normally do, which would be an added expense that we don't have budgeted, and no, we're not anticipating. That would definitely cause an issue. So we're going to get clarification on that. But the other areas, the pool areas, we've already followed. We're complying with all of those easily. The extra regulations.
What type of clarification are you looking for on the splash pads? I mean, do they have the ability to come in and tell us how to run our operation?
Well, we get a license to operate through them, so
are they gonna help us fund that?
Probably not. So that is definitely a question that we will ask. That's where they're mandating us to staff an area that we don't normally staff without funding attached to it.
And can they mandate that?
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, that's the number one question: is can they come in and tell us how to operate like that?
I suppose they can. Whether we agree with it or not is a whole nother question. And
We have to follow their guidelines that they set for us, and that's how we're licensed through them.
Through First District?
They could force us to close them, which would not be on us, I guess, if we can't find staff to facilitate watching over the splash park in the summertime, and we can't open it. That's not because we don't want to. That would be because we're not able to staff something that we didn't plan on staffing in the first place.
Do you know what the staff is supposed to do?
Maintain a 6-foot social distancing, try to not 50 kids.
And it'll probably maintaining the numbers going on too.
How many people can we have in a splash pad?
With a 6-foot apart, maybe up to 10. Yeah, it's.
Okay.
So we're
That'll go
hoping
well.
for clarification on that. We will start with the name that is on the issuance of the guidance, and we'll go from there.
And this
Move it up
is
the
all
chain if
from
we have to.
this District is where this is coming from, or did
That's-
it come from the governor originally?
In the guidance that we received from the state, it is not, this guidance is not a part of that unless they got clarification from the state health department. I think the local health units have jurisdiction over these areas, and they may be able to do things differently across the state.
Well, if that's the regulations, did Brian says we'd only be 10 people. 10 people wouldn't even open it up. I take it, right? If you can only allow 10 people in the splash pad?
I think we open it up and just let everyone see that only 10 people can be there.
We'd prefer that we could just sign it like we did with our playgrounds and leave them open and, have people police themselves like they've been doing a wonderful job of in the last 2 months, instead of us having to mandate that and yell at people to keep their distance apart. As long as our filtration and our chlorine system is working, we're basically spraying a chlorine solution on the pool deck and on everyone that comes into contact with it. That really makes no sense that we have to go any farther than that.
Plus, there's that whole freedom aspect. Constitution, individual choice.
It would be up to the board then to decide to, I mean, if they got shut down, it has to be up to the board to then appeal a decision. Follow either the administrative end or the, bring the matter to district court.
There's a lot of court cases around the country that are being won by other, not the government right now, when it comes to this.
And you'd be possibly setting a precedent when you're gonna have the government go against it.
Hopefully it doesn't get there.
No.
Hopefully
I-
we just
I-
go, but I'm obviously just trying to prove the point that it would be ridiculous.
I think we need to
In my
find out for
mind.
sure what the number of people in that square footage is at. Because it's gonna be based on square footage of the splash pad area. So many people, just like a restaurant or a room or any other place, X amount of square feet means so many people.
And we're breaking it in here right now.
I was going by
Oh,
the
yeah.
play features. Each play feature, you get one child, or there can't be another one within 6 feet. So it'd be one child per play feature.
This room is about splash pad size, right?
We'll have to.
So we'll hope for further guidance on the issue, and we will definitely be opening up our pool. But the splash parks, we will have to wait and see what kind of guidance we have. If it's warm enough to open them tomorrow, but we don't have staffing, we're just not gonna be able to open them if that's the case, so.
If they're gonna
we'll have
require
to wait.
staff, if they're gonna require staffing on a licensing type thing to open it from the health side, then there's.
Unfortunately, which is, that's not gonna be our choice to not
Yeah,
open them.
Understand.
So how do we handle that then? We're gonna wait a month. I mean, it's gonna be in the 80s. If you find out tomorrow that, no, they're not gonna let us open it, we're just gonna be closed for a month? Or are we gonna?
Well, I think the first thing
We'll
we'd have
probably
to do
try
is
and-
see if we can find people.
We'll try and find
A person we can hire.
someone to
be-
watch.
To just say that we're not gonna even attempt to try to do what they're asking us to do.
It's just a very short notice right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you a week or two just to find a warm body that can help you out, so, we're hoping that we can find somebody that has, enough of a personality to monitor this properly if that's what we have to do, so. They're gonna get thrown in the river if they don't have a strong personality, so, we're gonna have to try and find some people that can help us out. I think we could spend our money on other things other than that, but we'll get killed with phone calls here and everywhere if we're not able to open those up, so.
We're already taking calls on that.
All right, anything else on lost revenue?
Everyone's doing a great job with it. We've been through things like this not exactly this before, but other times where we've had issues, and everybody always works together and we get through it. So they're doing well.
As you're going through this and deciding what capital projects are not gonna get done, if you could give us a list at the next meeting, I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
Just so we know what's.
I think it's encouraging that the number is only 84,000,
Mhm.
and that's 0.6% of our yearly budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very minimal.
Yeah, and like Ron said, fortunately, we were in the middle of everywhere except Mesa. So now that youth baseball's starting up, practices are starting, we won't have Legion Ball. I don't know what's going on with the.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, they've got that. They're gonna work through probably the senior Babe Ruth. Vistas and Metros and all that'll be happening.
Youth fast pitch softball they've started practicing on our fields.
Mhm.
They're gonna have a season.
Saber Dogs are
Saber Dog?
talking about July.
July 1, August 23 right now for the Saber Dogs. Looking at a roughly 23 game home schedule, as long as things keep progressing.
Kind of similar there, we lose some revenue from the field use, but we also don't have the staffing there for the big games times, so we'll end up, having a reduced cost as well.
All right, move on to Roosevelt Park water slide update.
So we have a Go ahead, Jared.
Typical code appointed.
Yeah.
President Everett, Commissioners. Tuesday afternoon, I believe, is the second package bid opening. And we'll kind of see where we're at, and get that moving forward.
We were able to see a non-colored version of the slide. It's pretty impressive. The thing is huge. It's gonna be really fun. They were putting colors to it, and we haven't gotten a version of that yet to share, but we will. It's a really nice looking slide.
Well, and I guess if we want, when those bids, if we want to combine those with the bids for, a special meeting for the bids on the scoreboard, keep that in mind too, if that works out, if there's no questions, then it can be done that quickly.
Okay.
All right. And then on to COVID-19 ongoing operations update.
So as we're talking about colors and phases and guidance from the state, on Friday they gave us guidance for large group gathering sizes, and they put us in the color of yellow right now. So if you look at that guidance, we can have up to 250 or 50% capacity inside facilities. And they've come out with further guidance that was shared with us for actual, I mean, right down to the little details of how to serve people and everything else. So we have all of that now before us, and we're looking through it and trying to make adjustments where we can. We're hoping in the next couple of weeks that maybe they'll change the color to something where the gathering size goes up again, based on, you know, how things are going here in Minot with the cases, which has been, you know, very light.
So
So
5 active cases in town right now.
So-
They just started reporting those numbers to the health department.
So anyway, it's looking good for, at least for this part of the state. Like, we will see those restrictions loosen up fairly quickly, but you just never know. So we're prepared to keep things the way they are, but hoping that they'll loosen up and we'll be able to open things more. We can now use all of our facilities, and Bob's done a great job out at the Mesa, and we'll be working here in the auditorium and the other facilities as well we can have indoor activities and gatherings and outdoor events. We're talking about the movies and other things. We'll just keep things spread out, especially in the outdoor facilities. The restrictions are very light. So, and we've worked with all the user groups. They're starting everything up now. So we're excited to finally see things start to happen. And people are using our facilities. They're very happy about it. So.
And from a marketing standpoint, I guess we've really put things out there as far as more as save the dates, so people know that we're still doing them. You know, we respect the fact that people are completely different levels of health and comfortable with the situation that we're in, but I think our job as the Minot Park District is to provide these facilities and opportunities for people, and people choose whether they want to use them or not while following all those guidelines. So we've had a really great response from people. Obviously, the zoo's been crazy. The numbers at the golf course are awesome. We have some great events planned, and all while following the guidelines and making it as safe as possible. So that's kind of the perspective we have for marketing is, you know, you can choose to come to our things or you can choose not to, and we totally understand that you have that choice, but I think it is our job as a park district to provide those while following the guidelines that we have in place right now.
And I think we've been doing a really good job of pushing it and being creative, and, you know, kind of being, we're somewhat leaders in the state of getting things open as soon as possible and putting out guidance that we've been sharing with other park districts that have been calling and finding trends. So I'm proud of that fact that we've been getting things open as soon as possible, coming up with really good plans that we've been able to share with others, and the staff has been doing an awesome job working on that, and getting things open as soon as possible. And when the guidance comes out, we're ready, just like that, to make the changes and open things up more. So nice job, everybody. And I think our citizens really appreciate that. The ones that want to use the facilities, they've been really happy, and they're letting us know that. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other business? Move on to approval of administrative approved alcohol permits. We do have one.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Director's report.
All right, I've covered most of everything. We are starting to work again on the outdoor recreation area. Pete has been helping. We've been putting together, we're gonna be submitting for permission from the township to put our roadway in in the southwest corner, and gathering up. We have developers agreement now that's been signed, and we're waiting for the plat to get recorded, and then the developers agreement will get recorded on that area, so things are moving along. KLJ has put together and kind of re-looked at the pricing for the parking lot project. I may share that with you guys next month. We do still have money in our budget that we could move ahead with that if we want to, or we can put it on hold and, maybe we bid it out for a next spring type project if we wish, so. But that's, that would be our start on that project, so. And we did anticipate, that and have been saving money, so we have cash available for that project if we wish, or we can hold on to it and see how things go, this summer, so. But we're still moving forward with that, trying to get everything finished. The golf course plan itself is basically shelf ready, and we're just going through the rest of the permissions that we need to get started on it. So we're looking at our other projects as well, and we're also working on our budget. They've been working on capital project lists, and we're gonna start meeting here in maybe a week or two and start having a discussion, and we would appreciate any guidance from the board on how we wanna proceed with the budget. I have a rough idea in my mind, but we need to get input from everybody, so I know that we're going in the direction that you guys want, so. And that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioners report. Commissioner Hupta.
I don't have anything.
Mr. Schmidt.
I just want to reiterate on the, with the aquatic center, meeting with the swimming people. I've reported on this before, that we did meet months ago with the swimming people to get a project moving, get funds raised to try to come up with aquatic center. It's still moving forward, I believe. I did reach out this weekend to some members to see if they're gonna have another meeting, so I could be invited, go to it. Didn't get anything back. One person's been out of the loop. The last report I got back from the group was that they're gonna try to go to, I believe it was either Chicago or Minneapolis this summer or fall, to go to a meeting with USA Swimming on how to gain funds to do this type of project. I don't know if that's been put on hold with COVID or anything of that nature, but I just want to make sure that, that there is actually some activity from, this group here to try to move Aquatic Center forward by working with the swimming people. And that is still in motion at this time, as I understand. And I will continue to move forward with it as seen fit.
Okay. Mr. Olson.
Well, I'm gonna stand corrected. First off, there's 7 active cases in Ward County right now, not 5. And I know Ron alluded to it, but I'm glad that this park district has led the way in the state in pushing the issue and getting people outside. I came from 2 hours of Magic City Youth Baseball, 9 and 10-year-olds trying out for their teams, and they all had a blast. They're gonna do it on Thursday, so it's good. Good job.
Mr. Ward.
Oh, I think everything looks well, that we're able to move ahead like we are, and like Perry says, with such few cases, I'm a little confused by why First District is doing that unless they got the lowdown from the state or something. So I hope we can work out something, because those kids are constantly in motion when they're under there, and I just, from everything I've read and been told about this whole thing, it's more of that face-to-face within the 6-foot space that's the most dangerous than if you're moving around a room and someone's here. So I hope that we can open these, because I think they're a humongous asset to the park district, and be able to put more than 10 kids on there. So, but other than that, I'm glad to see that things are not looking bad revenue-wise, and I think it looks good.
The thing I have is I had a meeting this morning with the National Ice Rink Association, and Bob alluded to it. we basically are leading the country in how the rinks are opening. It is going as good as it's going here to as bad as it's going in New Jersey, where they might be able to open their rinks in January. So, be happy we're here, and I think we have a good plan, and it's continuing going on and leading the way. And if no one else has anything else, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Go right into the foundation meeting. Have a motion to approve the minutes from the foundation meeting of April 21st. Some.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the minutes? Discussion of the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Approval of bills, we had none, but I think we have one.
Foundation President Emery and the Commissioners. We did have one come in this afternoon for the foundation zoo signage. This is for donor recognition for the new lion and tiger exhibits. So the total bill for those is $13,324.65. We're just asking for approval for 50% deposit of $6,662.33 to sign design, so they can proceed with starting with making those signs.
And I will assume this is coming out of the zoo signs line?
The zoo signage.
Which has over
Has
36,000. 36,000.
I said 35 and change, but that's the accurate number.
So that's where the money would come from, more than enough to
That's where the
cover
money is
it.
coming from.
I'd move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Hubda?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Wharton?
Yes.
Emery?
Yes. All right, any information for us on our statement beyond the fact that the market's way down and value is way
Goes
low?
up and down, yeah.
Any other business for the foundation?
It's not lost unless you sell it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
No.
There's a couple things you're gonna say.